talking about? We're talking about spiders, and we're talking about pervitin', and we're talking about Bigfoot. I'm here to tell you where he's been. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. Here we go now. I'm talking about Mr. Gulley, and you don't know where he's been. Oh no, he's been right in your alley. Well, I'm Mr. Gulley, yes I am. So what we talking about? We're talking about spiders, and we're talking about pervitin', and we're talking about Bigfoot. I'm here to tell you where he's been. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. One, two, three, four. They call me Mr. Gulley. I've got something for your ear. Now it might sound kind of funny, but I'll make it very clear. So what we talking about? We're talking about spiders, and we're talking about pervitin', and we're talking about Bigfoot. I'm here to tell you where he's been. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. Here we go now. I'm talking about Mr. Gulley, and you don't know where he's been. Oh no, he's been right in your alley. Well, I'm Mr. Gulley, yes I am. So what we talking about? We're talking about spiders, and we're talking about pervitin', and we're talking about Bigfoot. I'm here to tell you where he's been. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way.
Hey everybody, what's going on? What's hot? What's hip? What's happening? What is shaking on your Wednesday night? Wednesday, of course, means hump day. We here at the Tom Gulley Show hope you are, as always, receiving the full, total, and complete amount of hump that you so desperately crave and you so rightfully deserve. Tonight, let me tell you about CB Radio's good buddy. I'll catch you on the 20. We'll see you on the flip flop. Look out for Mr. Smokey Bear. And before we get to some of your comments, got a few announcements to make. Please like, please share, please subscribe, please retweet, please notification bell. All the free things you can do to really help us out, especially those likes and subscribes. They just cost you a click. You don't even have to watch the show after tonight. You just abandon us in the middle of the street. They so help us out, though, with the algorithm, the almighty, all-powerful, all-seeing algorithm. We do have super chats. We do have memberships. And we're embarking on a whole month here of opportunities to turn this into a profit-earning concern. Last month wasn't good. We didn't get all of our allowance last month, but we do appreciate when you do that. It helps us pay the bills around here. And then last but not least, let's put up the begging bar. That's where I tell you about our merchandise store, which I think you can get, personalized merchandise in the store tonight. And tonight only for 35% off if you're into that sort of thing. There might be other deals going on there. I don't know. I don't keep track of it that closely. But it'll tell you how to turn on your gifted memberships right there. It's happening right now. And if you do that, some very kind-hearted, philanthropic person might just turn on the gifted memberships for you. And you get a free gifted membership, and that unlocks the members-only exclusive content that we do on the weekends. And it's a real party. Hey, guess what? Hey, this is exciting. This is super exciting. This is maybe the most exciting thing that's ever happened to this show. What do you think about that? This is perhaps the most exciting thing that's ever happened to me in my life. What do you think about that? Huh? You ready to hear the thing? You want to hear the thing that I'm talking about before we get to your comments, which also are very exciting? I don't know that they're this exciting, but they're pretty exciting. Okay, here's the deal. Well, the first thing I need to tell you is Discord messed up my computer today. So I haven't loaded in the photos for this particular show, but I'll do that on the fly. So if it seems a little, that's the reason why. I'm not that worried about it, though, because I have exciting news for you. Big news. Exciting, big, spectacular news. Blockbuster news. News that you will smile when you hear. And you will say, wow, Hepcat, way to go. 1 week from right this minute, 1 week from this time right now, 1 week from exactly this point in your evening, the Tom Gulley Show is honored and privileged to tell you that 1 week from tonight, we will have a special guest star. Nay, I say a very special guest star on this program. She is vivacious. She is loquacious. She is often imitated, never duplicated. She is a star of stage and screen. Yes, I said it, and screen. TV screen and movie screen. 1 week from today, we will have the opportunity, the rare and splendid opportunity, serendipitous opportunity to speak with the one and only, amazing, legendary Ms. Ruta Lee. That's right. The woman I consider to be the greatest actress in the history of classic television. Also a movie star, don't get me wrong, but on television, she brightened, whitened, and delighted every single show she was on. 1 week from tonight, she will be with us. What do you think about that? Huh? I'm telling you, I am telling you, I'm looking forward to it. I can't. I'm gonna be on for a whole week. A week, mind you. An actress of such dazzling skill. It's going to take me a half an hour to tell you all of the shows that she was a guest star on. It is gonna be incredible. She's done everything. Everything. Man, every show she was on, oh, you just stopped. Your jaw dropped. You said, wow. And just a staggering array of performances from westerns to detective to... She is a guest star on my personal favorite two-part episode of The Fugitive. Angels travel lonely roads. She's brilliant in it. Anyway, Ruta 1 week from today, please prepare yourself for me to gush and fawn every day from now until then, because that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Anyway, why don't we get to some of your comments? I have the hee-haw background up here because we're doing CB radios, and of course, you know, trucking. Big wheels moving, gotta keep them moving. Big wheels moving, moving on. White line is a lifeline to a nation, and men like... Anyway. Cabo repeat with a reefer on and a Jimmy hauling hogs. I said, Big Ben, this here's a rubber duck, and I'm about to lose. Jared's here. He says, hey, Tom. Hello, Jared. Nice to see you this evening. He says, H2BH. H2BH right back at you. That means happy to be here, and I am. I'd like to thank Discord for screwing up my computer again. My computer was moving so slowly. I'm lucky to be on the air right now. I have spent the last 2 hours zapping the pram and... Anyway, Jared loves the evolution of the intro. I loves my new intro. I loves it. Gene1313 is with us. So glad to see you, Gene1313. And this, of course, is the most cheerful chat room on the internet. It's verified by independent sources. Gene says, good evening to the best chat and the best host on YouTube. Right back at you, Gene. Jared agrees with me. Discord is the worst, and Discord hates Apple products. That is correct. 100, 100, 100. Dupa is here. Hello, Tom, Jay, and Gene. People saying hi. We do have the most cheerful chat room on the internet. Is verified by independent sources. People saying hi. People saying hi. We do have spiders. You got to make those in white next time, Jared, because they reverse out, and then they'll be seen. That's me saying hi to Dupa. There's little feetsies. There's spiders, because we have done some shows on spiders. Now it's part of the theme song. Don't blame me, I didn't write it. Metal Maiden Vicky is here. Her show, Metal Maiden Vicky's Metal Euphoria, may be heard every Saturday, 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Time on SonicAsylumRadio.com. That's the website. Go to their chat room. You can put gifts in there. She might take a request or two, and you will have a fabulous time listening to that radio program. People saying hi. Stanley Cross is here. Stan, the man. Stanley versus the world over there at the Urban Landlord on YouTube. He says, good evening, Tom and gang. I always love it when other show hosts come in here. I like to think I'm the video streamer's video streamer. I used to be the podcaster's podcaster. Now I don't know what I am. People saying hi. People saying hi. People saying hi. Terry Nee says, 10-4, good buddy. Watch out for dung beetles. Yeah, well, you watch out for Mr. Smokey Bear. We're going to catch you on a flip-flop. We got a pregnant roller skater over there on a four-wheeler. Anyway, what's your 20, Terry? What's your 20, brother? People saying hi. Is it my ears or is your audio sound a little different? So like you are speaking on stage or something. Well, let me check that out. No, I gotta go over here. Hold on. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. Does this sound a little better? Does Does this sound a little better? Thank you for that, Metal Maiden Vicky. See, I told you Discord screws everything up. And Jared will tell you this. I think that should have fixed it. Jared will tell you this. Discord just changes things and just goes, well, maybe he doesn't want to reboot. And it's awful. I think that probably fixed it. Didn't it? Somebody tell me if that fixed it. Sounds great now. Good. Just for those of you at home wondering what just transpired, allow me to tell you. I was using the microphone on my camera, you see. It's a fine microphone, don't get me wrong. It's just not unidirectional, and it doesn't pass through all of the various sound compression and sweetening that this microphone here will bestow upon your very learned ears. So thank you. Thank you. And Metal Maiden Vicky, let me just tell you, I wouldn't take that kind of advice from anybody, but as a queen of sound, in your own right. There we are. Stay loaded, good buddy. Peppy Sylvia is here. Peppy, you always make the show more peppy. MMV, Metal Maiden Vicky, people are saying maybe it's just me. Dupa says, Vicky, sounds like someone speaking in a room with no furniture. Well, there's plenty of furniture in here. It's echoey back in this little area. This area here is got a wall and stuff. And so when you have the non-unidirectional, omnidirectional microphone that is on the camera, it is going to sound echoey and stuff. Tom knew Theta Barra. I also knew Clara Bow. How about that? Put that in your funkin' wagnalls. Funky Bronco says, can't wait for the show. Well, you're in luck. It's going on right now. Metal Man Vicky says, yes, kind of with some background low-key noise. A little rumbly, probably. Tammy Baker. No, not Tammy Baker. Funky, but today's show will be good. Yes, I hope the doc calls it. Yeah, we know, Funky. Good deal, Tom. There we go. Art Bell and Wayne Green always had issues with CB radio. Well, you can just have them. Julian Caesar says, Tom, your audio is changed. Put the hammer down. I'm going to put the hammer down. I'm going to be in the hammer lane. I'm getting that hammer lane. Sounds great now. Boomer. Glad I could help. Dupa saying, Tom, I know you have furniture. I was trying to help. And you did help. Ruta Lee will be here. The lovely and talented Ms. Ruta Lee will be here. And she will tell us about her upcoming show on her birthday. And Ruta Lee and I happen to share a birthday. We were born on the same day, albeit 1 or 2 years apart. But I cannot wait to talk to this woman. She is just the gold standard, and I'm very much looking forward to it. Very much looking forward to it. Ruta Lee. I'm telling you, man. Ruta Lee, man. Oh. If you guys remember when I was talking with Ed Robertson, he mentioned that that might be possible. And did you see me get all schoolboy gushy when that happened? Did you see it? Did you see my big, tough, 6'5", athletic, macho, don't mess with me, buddy? Yeah, turned to jello. To jello at the mere mention of the name Ruta Lee. Greatest actress in the history of classic television. You can't watch Me TV, Antenna TV, Cozy TV for very long without seeing her lighting up the screen in another virtuoso performance. Yes. People laughing. Terry says, Tom has a love sofa. No, it's just a regular, I have a fold-out sofa, like a fold-out bed type sofa over here. I don't have a love sofa. Metal Man Vicky says, we had a DJ a few years back who was watching a hockey game while broadcasting his show. I mentioned that the game was overpowering his audio, and he went off on me. How dare I? I was like, well, dang, dude. Well, you're the head honcho around there. You shouldn't have done that. And I don't watch other things while I'm doing this. because then it would be worse than it is. I don't think we can have that. All right. So here's the deal. I don't have any of these photos loaded because my computer was going so slowly. So I'm going to have to do these one at a time, and they're labeled, but I can't really tell what they are, if that makes any sense at all. If that happens to make any sense at all. Although in a second, I think I am going to go out on a flyer here and show you the thumbnail that I made for the Ruta Lee program. Uh-oh. Oh, ice cream guy. Can you hear him? I can't stand that guy. All right, here we go. Oh, man, and I have so many pictures to show you, too. I have so many pictures. Let's see. This will probably just put it up here without me even saying it's okay. Oh, no, it didn't. Well, what do you know about that? Well, a wise guy. All right, let's put that up there like this. Let's get going on this CB radio thing. Although now, you guys, I'm going to put up the picture of Ruta Lee. I think I have to. I really do. You guys don't mind, do you? I'm putting up my Ruta Lee picture. You guys won't care, will you? You're cool like that, right? Oh, here it is. That's actually not the one I was looking for. Oh, but that's the one I'm going to have to show you. That's okay. I'll put this up. It doesn't have to be my thumbnail. Here she is. The lovely and talented Ruta Lee. There she is, ladies and gentlemen. She will be with us 1 week from today. 1 week from today. Her name on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. A legend. She'll be with us a week from today. And I will be gushing like a schoolboy. Let me see. Melamain Vicky says, the Geek Squad came today. I'm now on my new computer. I feel so updated. Went from Windows 7 to Windows 11. That's a light years jump. And, beautiful lady. Well, we'll have more on that as we get closer to the date in question. Citizen Band Radio. Let me tell you about Citizens Band Radio. We have gone way too long here. I'm running real late. Lucky to be on it all, frankly. Citizens Band Radio, don't you know? Big wheels moving on. Citizens Band Radio. Look at that. That's a CB radio. That, by the way, is a what they call a base station, and that's a 1980s model. Can you dig it? And that's a add-on desk mic. That's a static D104 desk microphone. That's about a 1980s era base station Citizens Band Radio. Citizens Band Radio is a land mobile radio system allowing short distance, one-to-many bidirectional voice communications among individuals using two-way radios. Citizens Band is distinct from other personal radio service allocations because CB radios do not require a license and may be used for business or personal communications. Now, like many other land mobile radio services, like ham radios or UHF or a lot of others, multiple radios in a local area share a single frequency channel, but only one can transmit at a time. Okay? The radio is normally in receive mode to kind of get signals from other people. And when users want to communicate, they press a push to talk button on their radio, which turns on their transmitter. Users on a channel must take turns, you see, transmitting. And that's what creates decorum, you see, politeness. If you're a ratchet jaw, you're a guy that keeps talking and talking and talking and nobody can use the channel, which is problematic because you can't even tell everybody else, hey, let's switch channels. This guy is blocking the channel. Also, if somebody with a more powerful signal than yours is taking up that channel, you can't bust through for anything. Sometimes somebody will be talking and you might be able to get a little burst in between if you have a strong enough. But if you have what's called key your mic, when you key your mic, you just tap it and open it. And so sometimes you can do that, but they got a strong enough signal, you can't do that. CB radios use an omnidirectional, in other words, it goes in all directions, vertical antenna. And they usually have a range of about 3 to, say, 15 miles, depending upon terrain, or basically that means line of sight. Is it hilly? Is it flat? But various other kinds of radio signals may allow, for a little while, communication over a lot greater of a distance than that. You can use things called Yagis or beams that will connect you to sort of a repeater kind of signal, but that's a pretty rare situation, right? That's a pretty rare situation. I could tell you a lot about CB radios in other countries. We're going to stick to the United States today, if that's okay with you. I believe I'd prefer to, keep this strictly to United States, sort of, as it were, All right, let me show you another photo. I think this is going to be a CB radio with a long cord and a microphone. Let's just see, shall we? Come on, processing. StreamYard, there we go. It's exactly what I thought it was going to be. And get that thing up off the floor. That would be an in-car CB radio, and you can tell it's an in-car for two reasons. Number one, it's the small box that would typically go just under the dashboard, and then it's got that long kind of, cord there so that you can pull it to your face and then put it back down onto the unit when you're finished. How about that, ladies and gents, huh? Citizens Band Radio started in the United States as one of several personal radio services regulated by the Federal Communications Commission. I'm going to show you a document from the SCC in just a second. They started doing CB radio in 1945 to permit citizens to have a radio band for personal communications. And a lot of these were like radio-controlled model airplanes, businesses like trucking and walkie-talkies for people to talk to each other while they're hunting or on bike rides or whatever. In 1948, the original CB radios were designed for operation on a certain band, and there were two classes of them, A and B. And Class B radios had simpler technical requirements and were limited to a smaller frequency range. The Citizens Band Radio Corporation was established in 1948-ish to manufacture Class B handhelds for the general public. Originally designed for use by the public sector, the Citizens Band Radio Corporation sold over 100,000 units, primarily to farmers and the U.S. Coast Guard. So they were really effective. We, with our cell phones and our fancy stuff today, we can talk to anybody from anywhere, but you have to remember that back in the 40s, you didn't have a phone with you. And so it was great to have a radio that you could, if you were out in a field or something, you could call home or call to another one of the tractors that was on a big piece of land and talk to somebody without having to go all the way over there and to not have to be licensed to do so, right? Ultra-high frequency radios at the time were not practical, and they were not affordable for the average everyday Joe, muckluck like me. Well, in September of 1958, CB service Class D was created on the 27 megahertz band. And this is the band that we today commonly know as the Citizens Band. Now, at the time, there were only 23 channels available. And the first 22 were taken from the former amateur radio service on the 11 meter band. And channel 23 was shared with radio controlled devices like remote controlled airplanes and cars and things like that. Some hobbyists continue to use the designation 11 meters to refer to the Citizens Band and adjoining frequencies, but those guys are nerds. They're just tremendously huge nerds. Don't listen to them. They're not cool like you and I. I'm not kidding. You think I'm kidding? I'm so totally not kidding. I think I have one of these early this was like a proof of broadcast form. If you got somebody else's signal and proved that you received it, you sometimes would, oh no, this is actually just a handheld. See, I can't tell what these are. Thanks, Discord. Thanks. This is a handheld, and this is actually kind of a modern CB radio, to be honest with you. I'm going to add another picture. We may come back to that later. God, I am so mad at Discord. Seriously, 2 solid hours before the show, trying to unscrew what Discord did to my... It turned off all my sound, it did, and it made my computer super slow, which is why everything took so long to do. So, thanks. I think this is what we were looking for when I was talking about that 95 and all that other stuff. But this is actually a station confirming in 1963 at 9:30 on channel 11-9. Antenna was a mobile antenna. Anyway, that's just like a proof of broadcast type thing. Part 95 of the Federal Regulations Code regulates the Class D CB service on the 27 megahertz band, and since the 1970s and continuing today. Most of that band was reassigned for business and public safety use. And I could get into what Class A, Class B, and all these others are, but we're talking CB radios. Now, during the 1960s, the service was used by small businesses like electricians and plumbers and carpenters, truck drivers, and radio hobbyists. By the late 1960s, advances in solid-state electronics allowed the weight and the size and the cost of the radios to fall. And that gave the public access to communications that really only specialists had had before. CB clubs were formed. CB slang evolved alongside the 10 codes like 1040 and 1020 and all of that. And in the 1970s, oh boy, now we're getting into it. After the 1973 oil crisis, the U.S. government imposed a nationwide speed limit of 55 miles an hour. And fuel shortages and rationing were widespread. They had even days and odd days, and you went by your license plate. If you had an even-numbered license plate, you could get gas on certain days, and then odd was the next day. Well, drivers, especially commercial truck drivers, used CB radios to locate service stations with better and more ample supplies of fuel, and then they would notify other drivers, hey, these guys have diesel fuel, come get some, fellow trucker. And as we all know, eastbound and down, roll 'em up and truck 'em. They would also notify other drivers of speed traps on the highway set by the police, and they would organize blockades and convoys in a 1974 strike protesting the new speed limit and other trucking regulations. The radios were crucial for independent truckers. Many were paid by the mile, and the 55-mile-an-hour speed limit lowered their productivity. So, you know what I mean? It did all them things. It really did all them things. And the only other thing maybe that you would want to know about all that is, and some of you may already know this, but I think it bears repeating. Just for historical context, if this damn page will load, God, I don't think I should ever use Discord. Every time I say this and then I go back and use it again, and it works okay for a while, and then all of a sudden it just guts you. It just guts you. Here's what I think we all need to remember. It was the dark of the moon on the 6th of June in Kenworth hauling hogs. Cowboy Pete with a reefer on and a Jimmy pulling logs. We was heading for Bear on I-10 about a mile out of Shaky Town. I says, Pigpen, this here's Rubber Duck, and I'm about to put the hammer down. We got a great big convoy rocking through the night. I just felt like doing that. I'm sorry. The use of CB spread further into the general population in the U.S. in the middle of the 1970s. Now, originally, CB radios required the use of a call sign. And when I say a call sign, I mean like, this is KHI 6261. That kind of a call sign, right? In addition to a purchased license, and I may have another one of those also coming up, and that cost $20 in the 70s. They reduced it to $4 in March of 1975, but that's like $23 in 2024 dollars. Anyway, when the CB craze was at its peak, many people ignored the requirement and invented their own nicknames known as handles. What's your handle? What's your handle, good buddy? And I would love all of you to put your CB handle in the chat. Mine was the Silver Bullet, as I mentioned the other day, because I drove that silver Geostorm. But law enforcement of the rules on authorized use of CB radio led to further widespread disregard of regulations like antenna height, distance communication, licensing, call signs, transmitter power. All that went out the window. Individual licensing came to an end totally in April of 1983. But I can tell you all through the 70s, nobody had a license. Nobody did the license. We weren't doing the license. Only a jerk would have the license. I didn't have a license. Nobody told me to get a license. There was no license. Why would somebody get a... However, let me just tell you that at a certain point in time, and some of you will know when this certain point of time is, the United States of America went completely CB mental, crazy, bonkers, not right in the head. You know why we did that? Well, we did it for reasons like this. Yes, that's right. Smokey and the Bandit. Yes. Eastbound and down, roll 'em up and trucking. We not going to do what they say can't be done. We've got a long way to go and a short time to get there. I'm eastbound, just watch old Bandit run. Yeah. They're thirsty in Atlanta, and there's beer in Texarkana. Yeah, that whole thing. So, oh, by the way, please do me a favor, please. I'm going to beg. Please please share, please retweet, please notification bell, please subscribe, especially like and subscribe and retweet. I mean, it don't cost nothing, right? It doesn't cost nothing. And it helps us out so much with the algorithm. Also, we have super chats and memberships. You wouldn't know by watching the show. They just don't happen very much, and they're happening less and less as time goes on. And it's hurtful. It's deeply hurtful. I feel pain, and I feel hurt in places, frankly, that I didn't think I could be hurt anymore. Long, closed-off corridors of my soul. But it does hurt. And then turn on your gifted memberships. It tells how down in the begging bar at the bottom of the screen, that scroll there. Some kind person may gift you a free membership to this show. And we would love it if somebody did that. If somebody would show they cared, that would mean a lot to it. I'm sorry. I love to be self-deprecating. It's kind of my thing. All right, let's see what. Here's another reason the old CB radio is so popular. Not just Smokey and the Bandit, mister. Oh, no, no. Not just Smoking. I'm telling you what. Did you hear that? Did anybody else hear that? Tell me if you did down in the chat. We're not having that anymore. I'm about to go outside right now. I so am. Hey, how about this movie? Remember this movie, Convoy? Remember that one? That was a damn fine movie. And by the way, Ally McGraw there. That's Chris Christopherson. And Ally McGraw is married to Sam Elliott. Beef is what's for dinner. But there was other stuff. There was a movie called Breaker Breaker. There was Handle with Care, which was released as Citizens Band in 1977. Who can forget the TV series Moving On? I think I have that one. And I pretty much can sing that whole song. I'm not going to do it. I don't think I would do that. But I could, but I'm not gonna. Remember, big wheels rolling, gotta keep them rolling. Big wheels rolling, moving on. Remember Merle Haggard? Well, sure you do. There he is right there. White line is a lifeline to a nation, and men like Sam and Sonny keep them on. Anyway, and then the Dukes of Hazzards. You know, that was a big CB show. The Stephen King movie, The Stand, you know, the guy was broadcasting over the CB. And we had a lot of songs. C.W. McCall's novelty song, Convoy. Convoy. Yeah. There was another song that was called The White Knight that was a country music song. That's actually a really great song. Me and Old CB peaked at number 12 on the Billboard Hot Country charts there in 1975 for Dave Dudley. Johnny Cash had a song that they've got in his list called One Piece at a Time, but I don't think that's a CB song. There is an Outlaws country rock song called Breaker Breaker, but that was really just to, take part and capitalize on the whole trend. There was a song by... Well, let me just take a step back here a second. Let me take it to the guy was there, okay? There was an artist by the name of Red Sovine. Hold on a second here, folks. I gotta. Sorry about that. I don't know if you guys heard that noise or not, but that's really... Anyway, there was an artist, a country music artist, and you'd see this guy and his songs advertised on television all the time. And of course, I speak of the late, great Red Sovine. And he had a lot of trucking songs. That endless black ribbon. He has tons of trucking songs. Come on, truckers, and talk to Teddy Bear. It's about a kid that was, sick and couldn't go anywhere or do anything, so he loved to talk to truckers. And there was another one called The Name of That Rig was Phantom 309. There was a legend behind it and stuff. Red Sovine acquired really, really cult status during the CB radio craze because he had been a favorite among truckers for years before that. Betty Ford. That's right. I said Betty Ford, the former First Lady of the United States, was a big fan of the CB radio. And actually, and I'm not joking here, you think I'm joking, but I'm not joking. She actually used the handle First Mama. That was her CB radio handle. Was First Mama. The CB radio craze was generally a rural affectation, I would say. The First Mama. And you can't really steal that from anyone, Secret Service comes to your house, and what are you going to do? What are you going to do? By the way, here's one of those licenses I was telling you about that you had to have. I'll give you a full and up-close view of this, but that was a Citizens Radio license, and that was in 77, and of course you were technically required to have those until 1983, April of 83. The legendary cartoon and voice actor Mel Blanc was an active CB radio operator, often using Bugs or Daffy as his handle, and taking on the air in the Los Angeles area in one of his many voice characters. Appeared in an interview with clips of having fun talking to children on his home CB radio station. And similar to internet chat rooms a quarter century later, CB allowed people to get to know each other in a quasi-anonymous manner. Now, originally, the United States had those 23 CB channels that I told you about. The 40-channel band plan was implemented in 1977 because there was just too many people on the CB radio. So they went from 23 channels to 40, right? There you go. And then Channel 9 was, in 1969, officially reserved for emergency use by the FCC. So if you did have one in a truck or a car on the road, it was nice to know that Channel 9 band was constantly being monitored. Channel 10 was originally often used for highway travel communications east of the Mississippi River, and Channel 19 west of the Mississippi River. But really quickly, Channel 19 became the preferred highway channel in most of the country because that other channel kind of had some conflicts with the emergency channel. So 19 was called the Truckers Channel. And there you go. The original FCC output power limitation was 5 watts, right? And in 1970s, they increased that with the channel increase. They did increase it to, it was still 5 watts, but it wasn't like the original was 5 watts DC input to the final amplifier stage. Well, they changed that to 4 watts output as measured at the antenna or the back of the radio, which was easier to measure and actually a more powerful output. Originally, this FCC intended the CB radio to be the poor man's business band radio, right? So it was like a business band that they've been using for weather and other things, but they wanted it to be like super accessible and, for kids on walkie-talkies and guys that had farms and not quite as official, And that's what it ended up being. I think they hit a home run. So channels 9 through 14 and 23 were interstation calls to other licensees. 1 through 8 and 15, 22 were intrastation communications, and that was units using the same license. So that would be like a trucking company, right? Right. Here's a handheld without an antenna. Now, I had a handheld that was almost exactly like this one. In fact, I may still have it. And what you did, this was great because you could use a battery and walk around with this thing. And if you were on a high ground, it would reach, 7-8 miles. If you wanted it to be a base station or you wanted to put it in your car, you would rig like a magnetic antenna on top, thread a cable through your car door or your window, and then hook it into the bottom of this particular style of radio. And I did that a lot with my, that was the kind that I had in my Geo Storm, the Silver Bullet there. Stan the man will like to know that since the price of CB was dropping and VHF Marine Band was still expensive, many boaters installed CB radios. Business caught on to this market and introduced Marine Band CBs containing the weather band on them. That's very important in nautical type situations. There was much controversy over whether the Coast Guard should monitor CB radio, but for safety, they did so. They used Motorola base stations at their search and rescue stations. The Coast Guard stopped this practice in the late 1980s and recommends VHF's Marine Band for boaters using the radio. The CB has lost much of its appeal due to the development of mobile phones, you know. Now you can just talk to anybody. The internet has helped with that too. And the family radio service, which is an entirely different platform of ways to talk on a radio from one to another. It's actually a lot better. It goes farther and the sound's a little better. It is, however, far more technical. I have one of those too. Changing radio propagation for long-distance communications due to the 11-year sunspot cycle is a factor at these frequencies, and CBs may become a victim of their own popularity, with millions of users on a finite number of frequencies during the mid to late 70s and early 80s. And this is very true. When this thing got to its just absolute zenith, you turn it on and it was almost impossible to talk to anybody. Channels were noisy, communications were difficult, and so people that were interested in it just said, hey, forget it. Business users like tow truck operators and plumbers and electricians, they moved to VHF and UHF business band frequencies, which require an FCC license and an assignment to a single frequency. The advantages of fewer users sharing a frequency and the clarity of the FM transmission, lack of interference, and all that made the CB less popular. CB radio has again gained popularity in recent years with an uptick not seen since the 90s. And when I was using it in the 90s, especially on the highway, it was pretty clear sailing. Now, when you got close to a big, giant metropolitan area, yes, of course, it got busier, but only on the trucker channel. And people had, 3 up, 3 down. Hey, why don't you meet me 5 up? Why don't you meet me 5 down? And you would just to 5, and it would be a pretty much open frequency. Manufacturers are reporting an increase in sales, while social media sites like YouTube are showing a growing popularity in CB radio content, mainly as a hobby. Technology has also given way to more compact CB radios with far more features than were afforded in the older ones. And this is one of those, very, very compact. As you can see, the need for the giant antenna has gone away. And this is a single unit, right? This is a single unit. I suppose you power it from the bottom, but that's just one deal there. Now, it's not elaborate. It doesn't look like it has a great squelch and all that other stuff on it, but it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Why don't we get through some of your comments real quickly? Why don't we go through some of your comments very quickly? Or I could cover all these other countries, but I'm not gonna, because we don't really care, do we? Really? I don't think we really care. I think we're pretty much okay. I don't know. Let's get to some of your comments here. Let's see. Beautiful. Oh, yeah, Ruta Lee, beautiful lady. Well, that's the other thing, man. Even as a kid, I'm like, she's a looker. Metal Main Vicky says, we had a CB user in my town with a handle called Smokestack. And yes, he would take over several channels. He was so loud and powerful, and he was a pain in the... Yeah, there was always a guy like that. There was one guy in St. Louis when I lived there that would just go, I'm going to get some key up in here. I'm going to get some key up in here. I'm going to key up in here. And that just meant he was just going to key his microphone and bleed over 4 or 5 channels. Now, here's the problem with that. The FCC can detect your signal. It's not like you're totally... Did it take a lot for them to do it? Yeah, you know, because they're not going to go driving around and search and listen. But if enough people complained, they'd find out who you were. And if you can get actually fined for that pretty severely. So, haha on him. That huge CB antenna we had on the house, too. Yeah, a lot of people had them on the house. Metalman Vicky says, my maternal grandpa got me interested early on. He was a ham radio operator, and I thought it was so cool. So it was inevitable that my mom and I would get a CB for the house and her car. Let me see if I thought I had another image here. Oh, I think I do have more images. Hold on. Giles, a little bit outside. I think I do have a couple more images here. They're just in a different section. I'll get this here pretty. What? I'm telling you what, man. This Discord really did a number on my computer. It's completely changed it has completely changed the library organization of my, man, that is messed up. That is really messed up. I'm going to have to, oh boy, that's bad. That's like super duper bad. I am telling you what. I guess I just got to stop using Discord. I don't know any other way to do it. There's a bunch of people that I really enjoy talking to that are on Discord, but it's got my downloads stopped at like 2019, and that's crazy. Obviously, I've downloaded stuff since 2019. And it doesn't have them here for me to look at when I search for this stuff. So it's got a bunch of folders open that have been closed for ages. This is messed up, man. It's simple. I can't go on Discord ever again. This has just happened too many times. And I guess I just can't do it. That's all there is to it. And it's weird because if I go to my Finder, just my regular old Finder, I bet it's not like this. So it's messed with my library tree like crazy. Gosh almighty. That's just awful. That's just awful. Yeah, I guess you just can't do it. I mean, and everybody is like, oh, Discord. There's that antenna that you were talking about, by the way. My maternal grandpa got me interested early on. He was a ham radio operator, and I thought it was so cool. So it was inevitable that my mom and I would get a CB for the house and her car. Gene1313 says, when I was a teenager, I got grounded from the phone, and I used to use the CB to talk to my friends. Yeah, it was so great. Metalman Vicky says, my first handle was Midnight Sun from a Sean Cassidy song. My second handle was Starry Eyes from a Motley Crue song. My mom's handle was Chippewa. I forget what my dad's was. Stanley says, wasn't BJ and the Bandit a trucker's show? I think it was BJ and the Bear. BJ and the Bear was the name of the show. Metalman Vicky says, LOL, Gene1313. Let's see. Funky Bronco is asking Wolf if he enjoyed the show, and Wolf's not here. So have another one. Metalman Vicky says, at the typing of the address on that license. Yeah. Gilman says, hey guys, I remember my dad in the 70s with the CB. It was the coolest thing ever. He took it very serious. Good to see you, Gilman, by the way. Stanley Cross said, we had the CB VHS on ships to talk to commercial and fishing vessels. Yeah, that's a much higher end form of a CB. And there were other citizens bands, and they created all those at once in the, I believe, what did I say, the 1960s, something like that, or maybe it was before that. Maybe it was in the 40s. Hold on, let me find out. Here. Fight 1945 is when they created all those. And then they split them up. And yeah, the ones like the ones that you were using, Stanley, were much higher end. And a lot better, frankly, than the ones that were in the because the Citizens band, as we know them, the 11 meters, only 27 megahertz or something like that. What was your handle, Tom? Be Mr. Lucky? It might be these days. Back then it was Silver Bullet because, and I don't know what everybody else did, you either had one that reflected your personality or mine reflected my car. Because if you look up a Geostorm, it kind of looks like a Silver Bullet. So I wanted the other truckers to know who I was visually. So, doopa-doopa-doo, saying hi to folks. We do have the most cheerful chat room on the internet. It's verified by independent sources. Please like, please share, please subscribe, please retweet, please notification bell, especially those likes and subscribes. I desperately need them to help me with the algorithm. Please help me with that. And we do have super chats and memberships. I know, not readily evident by the chat room here, but some for the effort occasionally. It's just good for my ego. But the big thing is to turn on those gifted memberships. If somebody gifts you one, then it'll go bling, bling, bling in the thing there. You'll get one, and then you'll say, I'm a great person. Lenny Ways says, wow, I know a guy named Jex who is a trucker that would love this episode. I'll tell him to ask you about it. Yeah, I know that guy too. Gilman says, vote no for banning the brotherly shove. Hey, Dupa, didn't they vote on that and the owners voted down banning it? Because I want it banned. I think it's stupid. But I thought they voted that they could go ahead and keep doing that. Dupa-Dupa-Doo says, exactly, Gilman. I would love it if they banned it. Stanley Cross says, put Discord on your phone, Tom. It works pretty well there. In my opinion, actually better than PC. Yes, Stanley, that's a good idea. Why don't I get that hacky, buggy 92 updates every time I use the thing on my phone? That's a good idea. I'm sorry. When a piece of software or platform jacks me up like this one has, I'm not putting it on anything. I'm sorry. I use this for professional work. I know what I'm doing really well on this computer. And that thing, no, I'm sorry. It wants to take over too much stuff. Not using it, gonna go. And this happens 2-3 times a year where I get on Discord and then boom, out of nowhere, I get 3 hours of work to do on my computer. Not doing it anymore. Not on my phone, not on anything. It's... Ew. Put the poison in a sandwich. That way, no, I'm not doing that. I'm kidding, Stanley, but that's the truth. People say, remember the movie Convoy? Yeah. People saying hi. Doopa-Doopa-Doo says, yes, Tom mentioned the movies which influenced the popularity of the CB radio, and also remember the song. Yes. It was the dark of the moon on the 5th of June. Anyway. I have used Discord for years, Tom. Well, good for you. Super. Do you use a Mac? End of conversation. No issues. Do you use a Mac? End of conversation. Anyone will tell? With Jared, well, I'll have to go up to the beginning here again, but where are we at? Oh, here we go. Oh, here we go. Jared. Discord is the worst, and Discord hates Apple products. I don't know what to tell you. See, when I eat apples, I get sick. I've been eating apples for years. Okay, I think I'm allergic. Well, I've been eating them and they're great. Yeah, see, I vomit when I eat them. But I've been eating them for a long time. Yeah, but see, when I eat them, my gums bleed. And I have parts of my body that are shooting out with fluids that... Yeah, but when I eat them, I don't know what to say. You use a Mac is the issue. Yes. Yes, Discord sucks with the Mac, like I've been saying. Yes. I don't know. I might I might have a higher need and a deeper understanding of and a more on a regular basis extensive computer use for high performance than some people, be it Windows or Mac. I might have been in charge of IT for her school system. Anyway, Doopa 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 says, Tom, I don't understand why people want to ban the brotherly shove. I apologize for this. Not about CB radio, but you talk about sports all the time, and I'm interested in your opinion. Well, I don't talk about sports all the time. The reason for it, Doopa, is I don't think it is a particularly it just seems like it's dumbing the game down a whole bunch, you know? And I also feel like at some point there will be a natural reaction to the brotherly shove. And I know what I would do with the brotherly shove. I'd start taking out knees. That's just me. I don't know. It doesn't seem like football to me. It seems like something else. And, you know, just the way I feel about it. I mean, there's all sorts of things that get banned that make teams have to do something else. And I don't disparage, you know, the Philadelphia Eagles for doing it last year. It's within the rules. They're allowed to do it. But to me, it's just, oh, you need to gain half a yard, so you're going to do the dumb thing. Even as a viewer, I'm like, okay, God, do the stupid thing again. So it's just my plea. But in truth, Dupa, it's American football. And I don't really care at the end of the day what they do. Zombie Wolf's here. He says 3s and 8s. What's your 20? Hi, Zombie. How you doing? Nice to see you. Hey, Zombie, we've got super chats and memberships if you'd care to, you know. Yeah. Back to Discord. Any platform that every time, and I don't know that it does this for Windows, but it sure does it for Mac, every time that you log in, it has to do 6 updates. That's a problem. That's a buggy piece of, that's not good. Every day, 6 more updates. I've had it. It's not that great. It's not the greatest thing that's ever happened, Discord. Somebody will come up with something better. And then that'll be fine. Current use. Okay, so CB was the only practical two-way radio system for the individual consumer and truck drivers. We mentioned all of that. It's a very popular hobby in many other countries. It's still in use by long-haul drivers to communicate directions, traffic, and other relevant matters. The unofficial traveler channel of the world is 19. I don't want to get into any of that. So we talked about the use of illegal high-power transmitters, which can be heard hundreds of miles away. Let's see here. United States, the number of users and law enforcement financing by the Federal Communications Commission mean that only the worst offenders are sanctioned. So legitimate operators are somewhat hampered by the jerks. Isn't that always the way? I look at those people as the Discord of CB radios. But let's see here. Technology. Oh, it just basically goes over the fact that the transmitters used to use vacuum tubes, and now it's solid state. Walkie-talkie units like this guy here became available at a certain point. Most CB radios sold in the United States have the following features, or these features are at least available. An audio noise limiter or noise blanker. So what that does is that it reduces all the background noise. A weather channel, That's all it is. Nice. It gets the no weather radio thing. Automatic level control, and that limits the transmitter modulation level to reduce distortion. Some of them can be hooked up to a speaker and be used as a PA. You've heard that, the guy on the block that would turn the PA part on and either broadcast music or go, hey, good looking, we'll be back to pick you up later. RF gain, that adjusts the RF amplifier gain of the receiver. And you can also use that to reduce the received background noise, to reduce clipping due to overamplification. And, you know, some of those channels are just, you're just going to get white noise. And so the RF gain, sometimes it's called squelch. You can turn that down to a certain level so that RF gain quits playing all the time. It's just, you know, let's see. Anyway, and a volume control. Microphone choices include a dynamic microphone, which uses a magnetic coil and a permanent magnet. A ceramic mic, boy, yeah, that uses a piece of ceramic, and it's about indestructible, and it doesn't cost anything. It's very high impedance. Very high impedance. It doesn't sound that good. An echo mic, which deliberately introduces distortion and echo into transmitted audio. And I know those of you that use the CB radio a lot have probably heard an echo mic. It's that guy that's like, I am the voice of God, does all that stuff. The electric microphone, electret, by the way, is what I said, microphone. That uses an electrostatic method to convert sound into electronic signals. Noise canceling microphone, and that uses two elements to reduce all the background noise, which is important in some trucks, which are louder. And a power mic, which is a mic that is amplified. The amplification occurs in the mic and not in the actual CB unit itself. The antennas, we talked about that a little bit. They're exactly as you think they are, and the technology and the obviousness of them, you know, the larger the antenna, blah, 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 blah. But really an antenna is an antenna is an antenna. You don't get that much advantage from the length of the antenna. You get it from the height of the vehicle or where it's on. You also can use different types of materials for the antenna. Ferrite is very popular with some people. It just depends. You could have debates about that for weeks. Absolutely weeks. A lot of people like to use the whip antennas. Some use two co-phased antennas mounted on their outside mirrors, and that kind of gets a signal front and back. You're broadcasting and receiving front and back. And that doubles, some people feel, the overall footprint of how far you're communicating. Let's see here. Free banding and export radios. Free band is just another term for things that are citizen band but aren't necessarily within the bandwidth that we've been mentioning here. There was a lot of CB-related magazines on the newsstands in the 70s and 80s. One was S9 CB Radio. The other was CB Radio Magazine. S9's successor was Popular Communications, which had the same editor under a different publisher beginning in 1982. And it covered hobby radio, like ham radio, as well as CB. And then there was another magazine by the same publisher called Radio, and they put that in Radio Shack stores in the mid-90s. Of course, you can't even go to Radio Shack anymore. In the early 2000s, National Communications Magazine added CB radio coverage to its coverage of scanner radios and still remains the only magazine in North America covering CB radio. So they're just hanging on. They're hanging on. Let me see here. Let's go ahead and do that. And let's go ahead and do this. Let's get to some of your comments real quickly. I think Stanley's probably going to be mad because, you know, you use a Mac is the issue. Well, no. I use a Mac on many, many, many platforms that always also work on Windows. The issue is Discord doesn't have their act together when you use a Mac. Let's see. Breaker. This is his brotherly shove. Get out of the fast lane. I'm coming through. You get out of the hammer lane. I'm coming through. Nothing personal, by the way, Stanley. People say that all the time. Well, you're using a Mac is the problem. It's like, no. The Mac works fine. No, he's not mad. Good. Mac works fine. It's the glitchy platform that doesn't have their act together. Funny, I'm using this Google Chrome browser, and it's flawlessly working on StreamYard. And by the way, before we go too far with that, StreamYard hoses everybody, not just people on Mac. They're good. They're good that way. Metal Main Vicky says, I haven't heard RF gain and squelch in so very long. Actually, CB radios were the first thing that taught me about mic level and output level. And I imagine Metal Maiden Vicky, as long as she's been in radio, knows what that is. Your mic level is when you set a level with your mic that you can see, like on a lot of boards and amps, it'll say level, and then it'll say monitor. And if you're using anything with a speaker, level is your actual mic level. That's your setting just that mic. Okay, for instance, if it was, say, an electric guitar, you would set the level, the strength of the electric guitar, and then you would turn up the volume on the amplifier, right? So you'd get that, how high do you want it to get the sound and the tone that you want out of the guitar? And then you turn the volume up. That's the difference between mic level and output level. You're getting that mic, so it's about at 80% most of the time. It might occasionally peg into the red, just a teeny tiny touch. But most of the time it's in that 80 to 100 area. Then for your output, like a guy like on at Urban Landlord, the Urban Landlord channel, a guy like 12th Man, his mic level's really high, and that's why he's so distorted. And then he's got his output level turned up all the way. So he overpowers everybody else, and he doesn't even sound that good. Now, Stanley's got a brand new microphone. So if he sets his level properly, right, and then he's got that output. Now, he's going straight in USB digital or some form of digital. So he's going to set his mic level with the volume control that's on his microphone. And what'll kind of set it. And then when he gets into the software, he can take that portion in the audio settings, and if it's at 100, he could put that up at 125. It shouldn't distort. It should just make him louder than other people. Know what I'm saying? But you got to play with those two, because what I just said isn't always true. Sometimes in a piece of software or something, they kind of cross over a little bit. So anyway, what do we got here? Julian, I just noticed your comment. I got distracted for a few moments. Well, let's not have any more of that. Stanley's saying mad, and he's laughing. Yeah, Stanley doesn't really probably get that mad. Stanley's going to be having a big debate with Cretan soon. It ought to be quite an entertaining time. Stanley versus the Cretan. Gotcha on software levels and stuff. Yeah. Well, it's that portion in the settings where you do not want it to reduce anything. You don't want any type of automatic gain control. You don't want it to find out where your level should be, because when you do that, other people's sound will always overpower yours, because it's setting that level based on other people's sound. And that was a hard lesson for me to learn. If I wanted to, I could blow people out like crazy on those panels, but I simply choose not to. By the way, I should mention, I got to redo this. Oh, no, I don't. Our phone lines are open at 972-994-6822. I'll keep them open for 4 or 5 minutes, and I'll take this out of here. I'll put myself bigger because it's obviously not going to do that for me, is it? And let me go get some. Oh, I don't think I did that right. Let me see if it. Man, I'm telling you what, that really singes my drawers. That really burns my bacon. I'm telling you. Added. Man, oh man. Yep, that really hosed it pretty good. Really pretty much trashed it there. Thank you very much. Yeah. 2018, 2017. Yeah, man. That really... Yeah, I just refuse to use it anymore. That's so totally unacceptable. I can't even put it into words. Can't even put it into words. It's just ridiculous. That is ridiculous. My freaking downloads folder. Good Lord. Wow. Man, oh man. It's 2025 right now. And I can only look at my stuff up to 2019. And when I go to my main Finder window, I don't think it's called File Explorer or something stupid like that in Windows. It'll show me everything, I think. But not when I go searching for it on StreamYard. That is just ridiculous. Oh, it just updated. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Anyway, there's Ruta Lee. I'm going to put Ruta Lee back up here. There's me and Ruta Lee. Let's see, we got another commento here. Oh, Metal Maiden Vicky was kind enough to give us a $3 super sticker. Yes, we're on the scoreboard. We are so... Every metric on this show last month went down a lot. And I don't like that. I don't necessarily care about it, but it's like, if you put in the work, you would like people. That's what it is. You just want people to, interact with it because you're doing the work. And we were doing really great up to a certain point. So I don't know whether the algorithm decided to do something or what it is. But, what's I going to say about the... we went down in every metric but one. And there's the one that we didn't go down in is, and we actually went way up, is listen time. Like people that listen to this show listen for an average of like 25 or 27 minutes. Now, with smaller sizes, that's going to be higher usually, but usually not that high. So you got to look at the bright side, I suppose. And some of the things weren't really down that much. Our total listening hours weren't down. They were about the same and all that kind of stuff. But it's just like, come on, man. March is supposed to come in like a lion and go out like a lamb. Well, maybe that's what it did. Maybe that's what it did. Yeah, I've got other Ruta Lee photos here. They're all very good. A week from right now. Now, when Ruta Lee is on, I will only have her for about 45 minutes. But that's enough time. Metal Maiden Vicky, by golly, just for that, I'm gonna put. How would you prefer Smokey and the Bandit, or would you prefer Convoy? I'm gonna give you Convoy since Chris Christopherson has his shirt off. And Ali McGraw has a fro. Metal Maiden Vicky says, always look on the bright side of life. Life's a bunch of when you look at it. Okay, kids. I think I've had the phone lines open long enough. I don't think we need to engage in that charade any further this evening. There's no need for that. I can take this dumb thing down, this dumb banner down. It's dumb. Nobody likes it. There's no need to have it there. It's stupid. A week from tonight, Ruta Lee. You believe that? On this little show? Can you believe that? Can I just tell you something? Please? Can I just tell you? She was in Witness for the Prosecution, Funny Face. In the movies, she was in a big episode of The Twilight Zone. There's a lot of game shows. Man, I'm telling you. She's got an interesting story, and Stanley may be interested in this, involving Nikita Khrushchev. You know, she was in Marjorie Morningstar. She was in other movies. She was on the Schlitz Playhouse of Stars. She was on Adventures of Superman. She was on Burns and Allen, Lux Video Theater. She was on Alfred Hitchcock Presents way more than one time. She was on Dragnet, Highway Patrol, Maverick, 3 different times on Maverick. Man with a Camera with Charles Bronson. Sugarfoot twice. Gunsmoke twice. 7 times on 77 Sunset Strip. 5 times, actually, sorry. She was on Perry Mason 5 times. She was on The Restless Gun. She was on Peter Gunn. She was on The Millionaire. She was on Richard Diamond, Private Detective. Bat Masterson. She was on Johnny Staccato. She was on, U.S. Marshal 4 different times. Wagon Train twice. She was on The Rebel. She was on Zane Grey Theater. She was on Laramie. Oh, my gosh. Gunsmoke, Cheyenne, Rawhide, The Andy Griffith Show twice. You know what I'm saying? Bonanza. Adventures of Jamie McFeeters with Kurt Douglas as a child. Kurt Russell. She was on The Fugitive, and I mentioned that she was in the second half of my favorite episode, which is a 2-parter of The Fugitive, called Angels Travel on Lonely Roads. It's a freaking incredible episode. I highly recommend that you go to either YouTube or Tubi or Crackle and watch just that 2-part episode. It'll blow your mind. And she's spectacular in it. She was on The Virginian, Burke's Law, Gomer Pyle, USMC. Come on, man. The Wild Wild West twice. We did the Wild Wild West a while back. Mannix, let me tell you something. She looks so stunningly beautiful on Mannix. Not that she doesn't all the time, but wow. Hogan's Heroes 3 times. Ironside, The Flying Nun, Marcus Welby, Love American Style 3 times. The Mod Squad, Match Game, Mork and Mindy, Three's Company twice, Vegas, Fantasy Island 3 times. Come on, man. Simon and Simon, Chips. Are you kidding me? First and 10, 4 times. The Love Boat. Come on. Benson. Come on, man. Did voices for Scooby-Doo and the Smurfs. She was on Jake and the Fat Man. She was on Charles in Charge. She was on Murder, She Wrote. She was on Roseanne. Saved by the Bell. Come on, man. Ruta Lee. A week from tonight. I'm going to be promoting the bejeezel out of this. The bejeezel. I'm not joking. I said it, bejeezel. Metal Main Vicky says, yes, a bare-chested Chris Christopherson is always eye-pleasing. Oh, man, Gilman, thank you for the $1.99. Says, just recently listened to Costello episode. Great. Thank you, sir. You're a gentleman and a scholar. Pepe Sylvia says $1.99. Thank you, Mr. Sylvia. You're the best. You're the best. Stanley Cross is Dragnet. Oh, by the way, tomorrow night we will have a show on vampires. Sorry, vampires. It will be on vampires. We'll be vampiring. Stanley Cross says, damn, how about MASH or All in the Family? I don't think I saw those on there. I don't think I seen them. Stanley, I don't think I seen them. I don't think I seen them. Hold on just a second. Let me see if I can gussy something up for you real quick if I can, okay? Let me see if I can make something happen here for you. That's right. She just did, I think it was Friday and Saturday night, 2 shows each night, sold them all out. Completely sold out of her one-woman show. Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. This lady is still doing it. And doing it better than anybody else. That's right. That's right. There aren't many who can give you a first-hand info on Milton Berle, Lucille Ball, George Burns, Gracie Allen, Tyrone Power, Debbie Reynolds. She was super, super, super good friends with Debbie Reynolds. Roy Rogers, Marlena Dietrich, Andy Griffith, Audrey Hepburn, and all of the Rat Pack, as well as a bunch of other ones. Now, in this one-woman show she did, she had special guests like Joanne Worley, and Jillian, legendary comedy writer, Bruce Valanche, and others, you know. Oh, no, that's going to happen on May 30th. She's doing a one-woman show on May the 30th at the El Portal Theater there in North Hollywood, California. So if you're going to be in the area, you better hurry up and get tickets because she sells the places out, this lady does, even to this day. Even to this day. So there you go. I've got her whole bio here. And, you know, she's doing this show called Consider Your Ass Kissed, which I'm going to ask her about. And that's going to be fabulous. It's going to be just fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. Let me see here. Is this the one? Let me view it first. I got to view it first. Yeah, I'll show you this real quickly. Guys, I'm going to be promoting this like crazy. I really am. I'm so doggone excited about this. I have... you guys know I'm a freak for old school TV, and I have thought for ages that this woman is the best of the actresses and actors in old school television. And I've thought that for forever and ever and ever and ever. And Stanley Cross says, Virgo will be thrilled. She's 89 and still doing shows. Wow. Yeah, check this out, Stanley, because this is for that show she's doing on my birthday and hers. If it will just show up in my downloads, which of course it's not going to do. Thank you, StreamYard. Thank you. Thank you. I'll see if it shows up. I'll wait a second and see if it shows up. But yeah, she's still doing the shows. She's still doing these shows. I'm telling you, it says really cover. I just need the one. Oh, here it is. Oh, there it is. Yes. Well, it's the one I downloaded earlier, not the one I'm using at present. There it is right there. Check this out. This is the show that she's doing May the 30th. I have to imagine that it is just hilarious, and it is a treasure trove of experiences and storytelling, and it is going to be a thrill. You guys are going to be, I'm going to be dressed up and everything for this. It's going to be, I may be drinking my zero cola with my pinky out for that episode. Anyway, Ruta Lee will be here 1 week from today. And I cannot wait. I cannot wait. Well, you guys have been awesome. Thank you so much for coming by and taking part in our show on the CB Radio. Tomorrow night we'll be doing a show on the history of vampires. I've got a long line of people telling me that they can't wait for this particular episode. And then Friday night, we talk about snacks a lot on this program. It'll be a show on pretzels. That's right, pretzels. And then this weekend, we'll do some stuff. And then next week, we'll just be talking about a week from, the whole thing. So I'm very, very pleased and just couldn't be happier that, somebody that just every role she played, she stole the show and was just a wonderful, wonderful presence for so many decades. And to this day, anyway. And she's classy. She's got class. And that's important because everything we do here is classy. We're very, very classy the way we do this. Peppy says 5-star shows ahead. You got that right, Peppy. You got that right, my man. My man. Well, I'm looking at that old clock on the wall. And, wait a minute. Dick Van Dyke was recently on Days of Our Lives singing and dancing. Yeah, Dick Van Dyke's still doing it as well. At any rate, I'm looking at that old clock on the wall, and like the Reverend Al, okay, hold on. At like 98 years of age, it says, Dick Van Dyke's way up there. I'm looking at that old clock on the wall, and like the Reverend Al Green, I'm going to have to get on up out of here. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. And I think that means that the only thing left to say is, till next time, you guys are the best. Thanks so much for being here. Please tell a friend. Please tell an enemy. Please tell a passing stranger on the street. Please threaten a loved one to subscribe. Till next time, we'll see you next time.
1, 2, 3, 4. They call me Mr. Gulley. I've got something for your ear. Now it might sound kind of funny, but I'll make it very clear. So what we talking about? We're talking about spiders, and we're talking about pervitin', and we're talking about Bigfoot. I'm here to tell you where he's been. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. They call me Mr. Gulley. I'm here to save the day. They call me Mr. Gulley, and I'm gonna lead the way. Here we go now. I'm talking about Mr. Gulley, and you don't know where he's been. Oh no, he's been right in your alley. Well, I'm Mr. Gulley, yes I am. So what we talking about?